And now let's go into more detail about your sample file. The random sample is made up of 4,000 undergraduate students. If your school population is less than 4,000, then we will survey the whole population. You can draw the random sample yourself, or you have the option of giving your entire population to SSG, who will draw the random sample for you. If you're not sure where to get the information on your students for the sample file, we recommend going through your registrar. Schools also have the option of providing a comparative sample. This would be a subset of your students that you want to designate for additional meaningful comparisons, such as students in a specific leadership program or RAs. Comparative samples are limited to 1,000 students. Because your random sample is randomly drawn from your school population, it is possible that some of your random students will also be part of your comparative sample. When this happens, the student will only get the survey once, but their data will be reported with both the random and comparative data. You must submit your sample file to SSG in the specified format of the sample template, which is an Excel file. The best way to do this is to start with the template and copy and paste your data into the Excel file. Now let's take a look at the template itself. Here's the sample template itself. You can find the sample template on the MSL School Guide website as well as MSL Exchange. Every school will have a random sample. Please copy and paste the information for your random sample into the tab that says Random Sample, Insert Here. The required variables are first name, last name, and email. Please make sure that when you're inputting the information, the email address lines up with the correct name. Now let's take a look at some of the suggested variables. Sample type indicates whether the respondent is part of the random sample, comparative sample, or both. In this tab, everyone should be part of the random sample, but some may be part of both random and comparative. If you would like to identify which of the respondents overlap between the random and comparative samples, please indicate that so in this column. A 1 represents that the respondent is just in the random sample. A 3 indicates that the respondent is both in the random and comparative. It is not necessary that you do this yourself. SSG can do this if you would like. Now let's look at race and ethnicity. We have conformed to the Department of Education guidelines for collecting race and ethnicity data in 2 parts. The first part is ethnicity. This indicates whether the student is Hispanic or not Hispanic. In this column, every respondent should have a 0 to represent that they are not Hispanic or a 1 to represent that they are. The second part indicates the student's race. Note that a student can be more than one race. We use the 5 federally recognized categories that are indicated here on the template. Please use a 1 to indicate that the student is associated with this race and a 0 to indicate that the student is not associated with this race. If you would like to provide class and gender information, please use the coding that is indicated in this template. You also have the option of providing other variables. These will be merged into your final dataset as long as they do not run the risk of uniquely identifying a respondent. You can provide as many other variables as you would like. You are not limited to the 5 columns that are here in the template. If you are giving us other variables, please go to the 3rd tab labeled Other Variables. Here you need to provide us with the names of these variables. Now, if you are providing a comparative sample, please copy and paste this information into the 2nd tab that reads Comparative Sample Optional. This is not required for any school. The comparative sample is limited to 1,000 students. This tab can be filled out the same way as the random sample tab. The only difference is the sample type column. If you are going to identify students that are overlapping between the random and comparative samples, please do so by using a 2 to indicate that a student is only in the comparative sample, or a 3 to indicate that they are in both the random and comparative sample. Because the sample file contains confidential information, you must submit it to SSG using MSL Exchange. Please do not send this file over email.